What are your first thoughts when a girl group starts to break apart? Members not getting along? Someone wanting to go solo? How about the label manufactured environments or reality TV? Sometimes the instability isn't coming from the members, but the systems around them. And if you look at what's happening with Katseye, and especially the narrative around Manor and the group's first performance at Lollapalooza since Manor's hiatus, it's hard not to remember times the label environment has contributed to tension, instability, and the eventual downfall of a girl group. We've seen it before with groups like Danity Kane and Dream. Let's line up these situations side by side to spot the patterns. Katseye was formed in 2023 through the Hybe and Geffen project's Dream Academy, after years of training that was later documented in the Netflix series Popstar Academy. Over 120,000 girls auditioned for a chance to debut in the group. That was narrowed down to a top 20, who then trained for around 2 years under the K-pop intensive system. And I mean intensive, talking about 12-hour days, brutal feedback, physical injuries. The trainees were judged across 4 categories: singing, dancing, visual performance, and star quality. Little did they know, mid-training program, they would have to partake in a survival show, where trainees are eliminated in successive rounds based on fan voting and Hybe and Geffen XX. This kind of structure creates pressure and creates narratives, and one of the clearest narratives that emerged was around Manor. Manor had been scouted from Switzerland and entered the system without professional dance or vocal training. The show highlighted tensions between Manor and some of the other finalists. A few of those finalists, along with Manor, made it into the group. There were moments that framed her as needing to catch up or work harder.
I feel like a lot of our frustrations, which is a lot of discipline and a lot of hard work and like paying attention and doing your part, like taking notes in class and paying attention to like what's happening in class, even if you are sitting out.
Yeah, but I have been taking notes when I was sitting out.
The thing is, like 2 days ago you were sitting out and then Sohei literally had to get your attention because you weren't paying attention. Like things like that. I know, like,
try to listen instead of react to what she's saying. Try to just sit and listen.
That framing not only positioned Manor as an underdog, but it possibly exposed frictions within the group, or even worse, overinflated something that may no longer be an issue. Now, outside the show, there have been some moments that have raised questions. Manor was missing from certain promotional moments and performances. She was missing from Katseye's Gabriella performance video, something the company explained as a sprained ankle. At another point, the group partnered with Mattel for a collaboration with Monster High, and all the members had solo photos on the website. However, Manor's did not appear. According to the beauty editor, the company never sent the photos. In another incident, the group collaborated with Glossier. Their label posted the members posed in front of the Glossier billboard when Manor was absent and sick. Manor went to visit the billboard the next day. This sparked questions. Could the company not have waited a day to take the photo? More recently, she was absent from a video from The Cup, where the girls are thrifting together. The video came with a disclaimer about Manor's absence. Then, Hybe and Geffen released a statement saying Manor was taking a hiatus to focus on her health. Manor later clarified that she was actually okay. Moments like this create confusion for the fans, because when information is inconsistent, the fans will try to fill the gaps and narratives spiral. How much of what we know about these dynamics is shaped by the way the labels present the story? This kind of situation, where label decisions combined with reality TV storytelling and public perception create chaos, isn't new. One of the most obvious examples of this dynamic happened with Danity Kane. Danity Kane was formed under the MTV reality TV show Making the Band, under Sean Combs and his label Bad Boy Records. The final lineup consisted of Shannon Bex, Dee Woods, Aubrey O'Day, Dawn Richard, and Andrea Fimbres. The group was pretty successful. Their first 2 albums both debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, making them the first girl group to achieve that with their first 2 releases. But the structure surrounding them was unstable from the beginning, because Danity Kane weren't just a music group, they were also reality TV characters. After members were chosen in the Making the Band Season 3, all members were brought on for its 4th season. Every disagreement, every tension and personality difference was broadcast on television, and certain members quickly became associated with specific roles in the narrative. Aubrey, for example, was framed as outspoken and controversial. Her choices outside the group came under hyper scrutiny.
Like you,
I'm done with all of that.
No. Like, what do you want to look like, though?
I'll tell you.
What do you want to look like, though?
I'll tell you. I'm not focused on me. I'm focused on what this group should look like and how I should fit in this situation.
You like big hair, though.
I don't like big hair.
You do like big hair. You like big hair. You like a lot of makeup and all that.
Arguments between members and Sean Combs were frequently shown on TV, creating storylines that blurred the lines between real conflict and entertainment. On camera, Diddy fired Aubrey O'Day and D Woods from the group. The moment made dramatic television, but it also destabilized the group entirely.
So now let's get to me. The vision that I had for the group, this ain't the vision that I'm on. You know what I'm saying? I don't work these amount of years to have you talk to me this way.
I'm not meaning
So
to
I don't want you in the group
disrespect
no
you.
more. That's where I'm at with it.
Okay.
All right, because I don't want to even have to have this conversation. Based on a lot of things that I've heard, you're not really a happy camper in this situation.
No, I don't think anyone has been happy for a long time in this situation.
Okay, so you could go too.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive about that.
Within about a year, Danity Kane had effectively disbanded, with Diddy firing all members except Dawn Richard, who went on to form new group Diddy Dirty Money, which included himself. Yep. Many fans have argued that the structure of the show itself and the way the group's internal dynamics were turned into entertainment may have weakened the trust and cohesion the group needed to thrive and survive. And again, it raises the same question. When the system around a group prioritizes drama, spectacle, or narrative, what happens to the group? Another example comes from the early 2000s girl group Dream. Dream formed in 1998 and was also signed to Bad Boy Records. The group included Holly Blake Arnstein, Ashley Paul, Melissa Schumann, and Diana Ortiz. They had a major pop hit in the 2000s with He Loves You Not, but behind the scenes, former members later described a difficult environment. Former member Alex Chester said the group experienced strict diet expectations and pressure to sign contracts without lawyers present.
So we had gotten to the point where we were negotiating contracts with Puff Daddy, P Daddy, Sean Combs. And we had gone to New York and met him and all this stuff. And it got to the point with the contracts that our lawyer was there with all the girls and a representative from the record label was there as well. And the record label is telling us, you have to sign a contract without your lawyer. You just sign it. There is no, you don't get a look at it. You can't have any negotiations. You sign it. So when we got there, we weren't fed. And that was a lot of times. They didn't feed us a lot of times. So it was like 48 hours before we got an actual meal. And I remember being so hungry and so tired. It was terrible.
I do wonder if that was like a tactic that they employed to, if they're hungry, if they're tired, they won't think about it. They'll sign whatever we want them to sign.
Absolutely.
Melissa Schumann later spoke about tensions and internal divisions within the group, as well as how members were sometimes isolated from each other by management.
I remember he isolated us from each other. So I remember being in the recording studio and he would isolate Holly away from us. And then we would spend what seemed like days and weeks just isolated in a room waiting for him to call us if he ever did. Then they started to make us lose weight and get on a diet. So while Holly was in the recording studio, we would basically be working with an instructor and on a very strict diet.
Melissa left the group in 2002 and was later replaced with 15-year-old Casey Sheridan. Dream spent the next months to record their second album with their new lineup. The group was pushed towards a more sexualized image, despite the fact that some members were still teenagers. In addition, the group's second album rollout struggled. Their single Crazy peaked at 39 and received limited promotion. The album's release was ultimately stalled following the events of 9/11. Eventually, the group was quietly dropped. No major announcement. The group simply faded out. Girl groups are often extremely controlled environments. They are carefully branded and managed, yet the systems around them can also introduce instability. Reality TV can turn members into characters, while label decisions can create internal competition. And we see too often when pressures placed in the group comes from the system that created them. And that brings us back to Katseye. There's a lot of discussion around the group's focuses on individual members, who works the hardest, who fits in the group. But when you think about the bigger picture, Katseye was put together on a reality TV show that created narratives for millions of viewers. They were then released to a label environment that shapes how the narratives continue after the show. So when the cracks of a girl group begin to show, are we paying attention to the role the industry plays in creating these outcomes?